And at the end then, and now with hindsight, what is the thread then for you throughout, what you based the song selection on and the order and?
I mean, the concepts, like lyrically and intellectually on the record, those emerge through just the process as well, you know. Okay. And I learned this lesson a long time ago when I was writing in high school, where a teacher, I wrote something very quickly and gave it to a teacher, and he read it and interpreted all of this meaning out of it. And it never occurred to me that someone would interpret meaning from something I'd written. So now that I'm aware of that kind of, there's like a subconscious process that's happening, I do the same thing with my own material. I'll write and then I'll see what it's about after. Sometimes I'll start with like, I want to write about this, but a lot of the times you write and then you analyze it for yourself after. And so the concept of the record and the title Outrage is now that emerged from the entire process of writing.
Right.
You know?
But do you then kind of get a glimpse into what you were thinking at the time of writing and when you look back or reflect now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a reduction of a bunch of different ideas that we were having. So you can look at it and almost, it's a gift, you know, to be able to do something like that, to make something, make a statement, and then you can observe it and say, oh, this is how I feel. You know, there's songs on our first EP that almost created a manifesto for the rest of our careers. I know that there's a song about not doing cocaine, and it's like, yeah, there's lots of cocaine in rock and roll, and somehow I managed to not do it for my entire career because the very first song we made was basically making fun of people who did cocaine at the clubs we were hanging out at.
Right.
You know, so it becomes the manifesto for your life almost. Yeah.
But so with this, and especially the title "Outrageous" now, and I wrote a couple of lines down from that track as well. But so how do you look at it now at that title? Was it early on that you knew that would be kind of the overarching?
No, it was late that title came, and then that song came, and yeah, you know, this record had a totally different title for a long time.
Can you share that?
No.
Okay. Well, I wrote two bits of it down, which I want to talk about. I'm out of rage, and outrage is all the rage, which is obviously the play on words. But I read somewhere also you're quite content. Is maybe not the right word, but you don't see the world as a bad place at the moment, right?
I mean, it's no worse. It's definitely not worse than it was 100 years ago. You know?
Oh my God, it's so infinitely better.
Like people, they get so infatuated with their own time that they can't see how much better things are. And you only see, if you're inclined to see only the bad things, then you'll only see the bad things. You only see through your own bias. And if you've been trained by your friends and by the media to see the world a certain way, then all you'll see is that, you know. And then if you break that that myopia, then you can see the world for what it is, which is an improving place. It's almost not an optimistic look, it's almost a realist look, you know. Do you think that people weren't getting killed by police 100 years ago or 75 years ago? You know, like there's things that are actually improving, but we're so caught in our own time and in our own narcissism almost, you know, and in this loop of atrocity.
The number of times I've seen people use the word ever to describe something. This is the hottest it's been ever. This is the worst it's been ever. It's ever?
We were in
ever. In the last 100 million years. Yeah. This is the worst ever.
Tell a dinosaur
tell
a dinosaur that the Earth sucks, you know, and while a fireball is like racing towards its skeleton. We were in Berlin the other day, and there was a band. I'm not even going to name who they are because it's obvious, but their iconography is all this communist imagery, and they had this huge poster facing East Berlin, You know, like promoting communism, like, this is such a good idea. It's like, no, we discovered already that was a bad idea for East Berlin, you know?
Who more directly has actual bits left over all around?
It was literally facing the Berlin Wall. It was like, yay, communism.
It's
you know?
almost insulting.
It's like,
Of course it's insulting. Of course it's insulting, you know?
But that's just a great example of a loss of perspective,
Yeah.
you know? Like, and once you lose perspective, what did I read the other day? That anger, in like psychology, anger is almost always a fear response, right? And so in my view of it, you know, everyone seems to be so upset now. And then my first thought is, who benefits from us all being upset? You know, who benefits from it? And like, to use America as an example, you know, elections are boring. They're really boring stuff, and once you've lived through enough of them, you realize not a hell of a lot changes. No one's that good. There's no angels running for office. Doesn't matter. They're all going to do bad shit. They're all going to disappoint you, guaranteed. 100% of the time, that's what will happen. So they've got to try to get you to care enough to actually go and do things to be involved. Well, how do you do that? You've got to if you want people to be riled up, you've got to make them afraid. I watched both sides of America. And I watch American politics like people would watch football. I'm like, oh, look at these teams, look what they're doing. But both sides is trying to make their team afraid of the other one, because that's how you keep them involved. But then the sad part is, and America's a wonderful example of it right now, then the election's over, but everyone's still upset. And that was like a price that they had to pay, that they're paying for manipulating everyone in that way. Like no one cares, so we've got to create boogeyman out of the people that you both all live around. Those people are horrible, so horrible, you've got to be mad, you've got to show them how bad they are by getting out and doing something. And then it's all over, you know, everyone profits in some way, but then you're left with this angry country.
Right.
You know, that sucks. And as long as for me, as long as we allow ourselves to be manipulated by fear in that way, then this will be the result. And so that's the point of the punctuation in the title. It's the concept of outrage is very much the fashion, you know, and it is unfortunate, because then you're being led around by these primal emotions rather than thinking through things.
Last thing about this then, but do you think we can, because obviously the media is part of that, do you think we can do something about that, or that it's kind of
the
unavoidable?
only person that can do something about it is yourself.
Right.
Like, you're asking the question, but there's no answer for the next person who's going to come in. It's all about the individual and how they choose to live their lives, and everyone has to start by doing good in their own lives, and then trying to do good for the people around them, and then it circles up from there. You can't ask this unattainable, you know, person who you have faith in, the government, to really help you. You need to help yourself, and then it extends from there. That's the only answer, is the change that you enact in yourself.
Right. So finally then, I want to talk a little bit about the sound, because, well, you haven't been away, but the band has been away for a while. And then in the meantime, the musical landscape shifted a little bit. You have a lot of, electronics in music now, but then also a couple of guitar type bands that sound very similar to what you sound like. Where do you see yourself fitting in?
I don't know that that's for us to determine. Okay. I think, I don't know, like if you're a painter, you should just be making the paintings that you want, not thinking, well, what will fit in the gallery of whatever. Then at that point, you're not really an artist, you're a commercial artist. You're not like a designer, you're the person who designs the Coca-Cola logo. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a commercial art thing. I don't try to think about it that way. We've never...
That's good art, though. Coca-Cola logo.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
It's effective. I don't know that it's beautiful. I don't think people stand there for hours staring at it.
I don't know, I got a pair of pants coming.
Young designers may do that. I was like, how do I figure this out? But in terms of, I'm always amazed talking to fans, huge fans of our band, and then they'll talk about the other things that they like. And I'm always shocked at how varied those other things are from person to person, that we could somehow have a place in these these incredibly varied, disparate tastes. These people still find a way to, fit us into their picture.
Right.
And I don't know what that is. I mean, in that sense, the music that we're making is quite selfish. I mean, we're doing it for ourselves, and it's wonderful that other people like it. It's wonderful that anyone likes it. But that's not why it exists.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making music and listening to it in my car for as long as I've been able to record music. So it's something like I'm just doing it anyway for myself, and so I don't know.
But so in that sense, you're not aware, or aware might not be the right word, but you don't really pay attention to bands like Royal Blood or kind of that have a similar.
I've had beer with them, and we pal around now, and like I said, when we had drinks for the first time, I said, I'm just glad that our having gone through the gauntlet of interviews years ago, when everyone asked why no guitar, has saved you from being asked why is there no guitar, and they agreed. And the bass player said to me, he's like, I hate that our bands get compared. He's like, we don't sound alike. He's like, I'm not trying to make music like you. We don't sound the same, but everyone's just trapped by the form. And I said, dude, what do you think? That's the world. People not seeing past the form of something into the content. It's a sad truth, I guess.
But so finally, the very last question: do you like those comparisons then, or is it a non-issue?
It's like I don't know. It's like it's nothing in my mind. I don't think about music like that.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.